Ambassador Devre, Dr. Majumdar, members of the panel, and I would like to address also the students here. I was also a student from Pune, so I see lots of students here. Kasakai, my friends, the boys and girls. And when I was a student, I used to say, Purgi changle ahe. But today I'll say, Symbiosis International University changle ahe. Thank you, Dr. Majumdar, for what you have done. From the Students' Council, Symbiosis today, such a big university. We're very, very much proud of you, sir. Dr. Majumdar is my guru. I got training from him. He made me a leader. I was a leader here itself among the students, president of the Mauritian Student Association. With him I met Mrs. Indira Gandhi. He sent me to the first World Hindi Convention in Nagpur. Thank you, doctor. So I'll come back to the subject now. It's a very interesting subject. India with the ocean, Indian Ocean. That very much fits India. That's the only India which has an ocean. America don't have an ocean. Asia don't have an ocean. India with Indian Ocean. So, I would like to say something, especially what my friend yesterday mentioned, Arvind Bulel. He said that Indian Ocean is the ocean of the century. That's very correct. And our friend, Ambassador Bhagirat, in his speech, he mentioned about that in 2012, India was heading the Indian Ocean Rim Association, and there was a suggestion that we should create an Indian Ocean University. I think all of you, I also agree with him that in Mauritius we should create that Indian Ocean University, and we should call it the International Symbiosis, International Indian Ocean University. That credit also goes to you, Dr. Majumdar. Please try to convince the government of Mauritius and the 21 countries so that we can have a university there. I'll come back to the subject now. You know, I'm a proud son of an indentured laborer, Girmityas. I'm the 4th generation. My forefathers left India some 170 years ago. And in Mauritius, we celebrated in 2014 the 180th arrival of the indentured labor. Your Minister of External Affairs, Sushma Swaraj, I went to invite her personally. She came to Mauritius. She conquered Mauritius. She inaugurated a museum there. I was the chairman of the Pravasikat. That's where the indentured laborers landed. And with Mauritius, the British started the great experiment. It was just in 1834, 1833 was the abolition of slavery. 1834, 2nd November, 1834, the first ship at last came to Mauritius from Calcutta. There was from 465,000 Girmityas that we call Girmityas agreement between the worker and the British colonial masters. So these people, they couldn't read, they couldn't write, the agreement was made. They came to Mauritius. They were treated like slaves. They were told, you go to Mauritius, you turn the rocks, and you'll see gold in the sugarcane plantation. There was nothing gold. The treatment was just like slaves. It was worse than slaves. And not only Mauritius, they went to Guyana, they went to Fiji, to Suriname, to Trinidad, to French territories, Réunion Island next to Mauritius, to Guadeloupe, to Martinique. They were in some 26 countries. So there was more than 1 million people from India who left in those days. And today, I'm proud to say that from Girmityas, from Indentured, who are prime minister, who are ministers in so many countries. So I'm very, very proud, ladies and gentlemen, that India is doing so much for these countries. When we came to these countries, we have shaped the country. We have done so much in our countries. Mauritius, in the case of Mauritius, we became independent in 1968. But in the case of Mauritius, it's very important to note that Diego Garcia belonged to Mauritius. That's where is the base, American base. And we're still fighting for that. In 1965, the Britishers took away Diego Garcia and they built a naval base there for the US and British. And since then, we are willing to have back our island. Let's hope that this year our Prime Minister is going to the UN. We want our Diego Garcia to be back to Mauritius. Well, while speaking about Mauritius, we are very proud that India is building a long-term geostrategic position in Africa, in African countries that lie in the Indian Ocean. And Mauritius is the key and star of the Indian Ocean. Regarding this Diego Garcia, there are two things that happened in 2015. I'll come later with the visit of Prime Minister Modi to Mauritius. But first, there was an award of the tribunal which was unequivocal, and the tribunal noted disturbing similarities and common pattern between the establishment of the BIOT in 1965 and the Marine Park in 2010 by the Britishers. And now you know regarding the base in Diego Garcia, the Americans are willing to have another lease of 20 years, which Mauritius don't want to go ahead with that. Yeah, I see that in March 2015 there was two good elements. One was the visit of Modi ji. Modi ji now, you know, the number of countries he has visited, he's really a rock star. Wherever he goes, people surround him. 25,000 people in the US, in UK, in France, wherever he goes, the diaspora people are with him. And when he visited Mauritius, something really happens. He visited Mauritius and Seychelles. Now, when he came from Seychelles, he announced that he is going to develop the Assumption Island, which is 1,000 kilometers away from the mainland Seychelles. They are putting an airport there. They are doing some mapping work also in the region of Seychelles. And if you take Seychelles and Mauritius, the exclusive economic zone is 2.3 million square kilometers, as big as India. Just imagine that. We are just 1.2 million. You are 1.3 billion, but we have a very rich zone in the sea. And Modi ji has accepted, even in Mauritius, he announced that he will be giving to Mauritius the metro. The metro will be built in Mauritius. Indian companies are already working in preparing the projects. And he has mentioned the name of two companies. One is Ascon, and another one is Los Entubro. The construction of these metro will start on the 12th of March 2017. 2017. Why 12th of March? Because you know it, Mauritius became independent on that day. Especially 12th of March is very important to Gandhiji, to the Salt March. So we are very, very much attached to Mother India. Other projects that are coming, you had recently the visit of your, how do you call him? I don't have the name in mind, the Minister for Defense. He was in Mauritius last week, and he is there. He has made certain announcement that he's going, government of India is going to finance also a new port in Albion area. A new port is being built by India. A new hospital also will be built by the government of India. So India is doing lots of things to Mauritius. When Mrs. Gandhi visited Mauritius in 1970, she created and donated the Mahatma Gandhi Institute, where today all Mauritians are learning Indian languages, Indian culture. In Mauritius, we are proud to say that we speak Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, Marathi, Gujarati, and we have cultural centers. We have in Mauritius the World Hindi Secretariat. Modi ji laid the foundation stone of the World Hindi Secretariat. He is coming in 2018 for the inauguration of the World Hindi Secretariat. You'll be surprised. Our gentleman was speaking of Ramayana. But it's the only country in the world where through legislation we have the Ramayana Center in Mauritius. And in 1996, I'm right, we celebrated a big Ramayana conference, and Murli Manohar Joshi from India was the guest of honor. And in the second row, there was a gentleman, unknown, sitting at the back. I met him. He was someone from the RSS in those days. It was Modi ji. In 1996, Modi came to attend the conference of Ramayana. So lots of things happening in Mauritius. We have so many conventions, Tamil conference, World Tamil, World Telugu, World Marathi conference. Even the then Chief Minister of Maharashtra, I don't have the name in mind, it was in the 90s. He was also minister. Mr. Pawar was in Mauritius for this conference. And Professor Devre, ambassador, mentioned about the Gopio movement. In Mauritius, through the Gopio, we have organized so many things. Nitish Kumar came at my invitation for 10 days. Because in Mauritius, we speak, the majority of the people in Mauritius are Bhojpuri speaking. You'll be surprised. Bhojpuri is a language which is being taught in Mauritius and not in India. So Nitish Kumar came for 10 days. And there was our Prime Minister, Naveen Ramgoolam, went to Patna. In Patna, you have the statue of Mahatma Gandhi. And there, opposite the statue of Mahatma Gandhi, you have the statue of the father of the nation, the Mauritian father of the nation, that is Sivsagar Ramgoolam. Lots of things are happening between the two states, between Bihar and Mauritius. There are lots of exchanges. And on the 30th of October, what we call the Git Gawai. Git Gawai is people sing and dance on Bhojpuri. This was inscribed at UNESCO in 2016. Well, speaking about UNESCO, I also was at UNESCO as the head of the Aprapasigat, and we got inscribed the International Labour Route Project in 2014. This International Route Project will have to work with these 26 countries, and lots have to be done with these Girmityas countries. Well, coming back to, again, culture, some of the speakers mentioned about Narasimha Rao. When I was minister, he came to Mauritius. He was HR minister in 1984. And he told the Prime Minister he was willing to visit a place where people speak Telugu. I brought him to my hometown. He sat for 2 hours listening to Rama Bhajanamu. He was so impressed, and at the end he said, songs that he has learned when he was 4 or 5 years is no more in Andhra. And we in Mauritius, we have preserved these old songs, these old traditions. That's Mauritius. You know, in Mauritius, we have created our own Ganga Talao. You know the way we celebrate the Mahashivratri? We have 1.2 million Mauritians. 75% of the Mauritian populations are Indians. And for Mahashivratri, people travel from far distances to go to this Mahashivratri festival at the Ganga Talao. They get the sacred water from that Ganga Talao, and we do the puja on Shivratri day. And we had also, at the invitation of Gopi International, I invited Ramesh Pokhriyal, the then Chief Minister of Uttarakhand. He brought the sacred water from Gangotri and he poured with our Prime Minister for the Mahashivratri. So these are things that is connecting people. The culture is there. They are so happy. And there is a very important role. I think Madam Namrata is there from the ICCR. ICCR also is playing a very important role. Mr. Karan Singh was the chairman of the ICCR. He came to Mauritius, he came to Réunion Island, and he gave a lecture on Gandhiji, and especially Dr. Karan Singh, when he went to Réunion Island, he spoke in French. He conquered the whole French island with his French words. The same was the case for Mrs. Indira Gandhi when she first visited Mauritius in 1970. There was no TV. The whole town of QP, the Franco-Mauritians came out in the street to listen to that lady speaking in French, because Mauritius, most of them speak in French, as I told you. Yes, I'll be back again with the work that ICCR is doing. Minister Sharma, Minister of Culture and Tourism, was in Réunion Island at the invitation of Gopi International. Réunion Island is just half an hour from Mauritius. And there also, he inaugurated a stele, a monument in honor of Indian immigrants. I'm thankful to ICCR, the Minister of Culture. They have also put a cultural center in Réunion Island. Now, I was in Réunion Island last week, 2 weeks ago, with Ambassador Mukherjee. She was coming from Delhi, and on the flight there was one gentleman who was coming from South India. He was your dance teacher sent by ICCR, the dance and music teacher. So just imagine now, in Réunion Island, where they just speak French, they are Tamilians, did not know a single word of Tamil, did not know a single word of English. ICCR is playing a very important role, bringing these artists to show them the Indian culture. This is very important. And in another country like Guadeloupe also, we have put a monument there in honor of the indentured laborers, in honor of our forefathers. So, lots of things happening. Some gentlemen, the last speaker mentioned about Chris Patten. I remember when I was minister, Chris Patten came to Mauritius. And he asked me, why all the contracts are going to France. I was responsible for energy, for water resources, for telecommunication. All the contracts are going to France, and no contracts going to the Britishers. I bluntly told him, sir, you have closed the British Council. The French, they give us free education. For you now, no British Council. You have to pay very high fees in UK, and the Mauritians who come to study in France, when they return back, they are acquainted with the French companies, and that's why the French companies are getting all the contracts. So India is playing a very important role in putting these cultural centers. And Madam, I'll also tell you that on the 8th of November this year, the Gopio chapter in France celebrated the Diwali festival with 700 people with the mayor of Paris and the minister from Paris. It's a very big activity, and Ambassador Mohan Kumar wrote to me and to Gopio telling us that we should make an annual event so that people will celebrate Diwali in the French colonies. And on the 17th, on Saturday, Gopio Francophone celebrated in Paris the reigniting of the flame of the nation, celebrating the 100 years of the First World War, where more than 9,500 soldiers died. I was there for a ceremony last year on the 16th of December with Lord Rana and other members of the Gopio chapters. And you'll be surprised, for the first time in the history of Paris, my friend, ambassador from Paris, Mr. Bhagirat, he served there in Paris also. But the people, the ambassador was so happy. First time in L'Arc de Triomphe, Jana Gana Mana was sung. They were singing with Jhal Dholok, singing the national anthem. So this happened again on the last 17th, that is on Saturday. I was invited there, but my priority was to come here. So these are the works that we're doing at Gopio international level. We're having so many conferences, so many meetings, and now I have created the International Indentured Girmityas Foundation. This foundation was blessed by Ambassador Mukherjee and the High Commissioner in Mauritius, Abhay Thakurji, 2 weeks ago. So with this foundation, we are going to do lots of work for the diaspora. And we'll do a lot to connect Mother India with our diaspora people. You know, when we speak about Mauritius and India, when India catches a cold, Mauritius sneezes. That's how is the relation between Mauritius and India. Speaking about the visit of the defense minister 2 weeks ago, let me tell you that in Mauritius, we have the Dhruv, we have so many helicopters, the Chetak is there, Barracuda is a boat which has been manufactured here, 2-3 boats have been manufactured, and it's manned by the Indian Navy. So for security-wise, India is doing a lot for security in that region. So it's time constraint, but I'm very happy to be here with you. I'm very happy that such a topic has been discussed here, especially India, Indian Ocean, and that region. So I'll conclude by saying that with my foundation, we'll be working together with the government of India, with all the governments. Why not create and a Royal India Commonwealth, just like you have the Commonwealth, just like you have the Francophone Summit, just like you have the ASEAN, we create a Commonwealth with all these indentured countries, which will be a very, very good help to Mother India. It's a big work. We'll collaborate with all these countries so that in the days to come, a Royal India Commonwealth will be created where there will be interactions with people of the diaspora. Thank you once more.